and we should be live on YouTube as well. It's connecting. Give me a second. Just give me a few more minutes and we'll be live. Hi there, Chirag. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Very good evening. How are you, man? How's it going?
I'm fine, sir.
We recently spoke and you did mention that you are facing issues with the speaking module. Let's start with that as we don't have anyone else over here.
Okay, sir.
Right. So tell me what's going on with speaking.
Right now, sir, I am preparing for Q card, and I have only one problem, which is follow-ups questions.
Follow-up questions. So you're basically referring to the part 3 section of the IELTS
Sometimes,
speaking module.
but sometimes I cannot understand what's the question and what's the content about it question.
Hmm. So you're
So
basically
that's
referring
why
to the
I think that's why I suffering this problem.
okay. So I'll just take a note of your question and we'll start the session with IELTS speaking part 3.
Okay.
Nikki, how are you? Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Just like last time, your audio is not clear. So are you using a microphone or anything?
Yeah, headphones.
Yeah, this is much
Is it
better.
still like disturbing sound?
Yeah, that's better now.
Okay.
So what's going on? Do you have any questions, any queries?
Yeah, as I last time mentioned, I'm just studying for the which paragraph contains information from reading
Okay, your voice is
and
breaking, but all I heard is paraphrasing from the reading
understanding.
module. Is that correct?
No, which para contains which information?
Which paragraph contains the following information?
Which information?
Okay, got your point. So you're
And
basically referring to
sentence ending.
the reading module, question type, and also sentence ending.
Reading.
All right, got your point.
Yes.
Any other questions? Even Chirag, you can ask any other questions. I'm conducting questions right now.
That in reading. Am I audible now?
You're audible, but your voice is breaking constantly.
Let me just disconnect my headphones in this.
Sure.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. It's far better now.
Wait, just wait. I will rejoin.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible, and your voice is also clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. The thing is that most of the time for reading module, I'm just at the location, like wherever the answer is. But I don't know due to the time pressure or what. It's like either I do right answer or just I rub the right one and again do right. wrong answer.
Okay.
When to go through the analysis, I get to know that oh, that's a that's a blunder I have made. Its location is exactly right. I do get the location, but answer is wrong. Misinterpretation, kind of.
So, Nikki, what you're basically telling me is you're able to reach the correct location, but most of the time you're getting the answers wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
All
That's
right.
fine.
Chirag, anything else apart from part three speaking?
Yes, sir. One, she's saying reading module.
Hmm.
When we reach a location,
Hmm.
that we cannot find right answer, like true false not given,
Hmm.
or sometime if blanks given like two words,
Hmm.
so we have like suffering from problem like which one we can add.
Hmm. So every single time you're able to reach the location, but the only problem is you're not able to find the correct answer. Is that so? Both of you.
So,
All right. So we have questions for speaking and we have a few questions for reading. Any other questions for writing or listening?
maybe that will let's for next session.
All right. So let's do this thing. So as I said, we are about to start our Q&A session, but I'll just give you a basic understanding of the questions I received. So we'll start with the first question that I received, that is from Chirag. So Chirag says that part 3 questions are a bit challenging. It's hard to understand these questions sometimes, and it's just difficult to comprehend and how to respond. So let's start with a few questions. Let me ask a simple question. Let me pull out a question for you. I'll share my whiteboard. Let me know once you guys can see it. Is it visible?
No, sir.
The
No,
whiteboard.
sir.
Okay, I'm not sharing on Telegram. Just give me a second. Yep, you should be able to see now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so as I said, IELTS speaking part 3 questions. Before we address this, why is there part 1, part 2, and part 3? Any idea why are there these 3 different parts in the speaking test?
Yes, sir.
So why do you think they are asking these 3 different sets?
In part one, they ask about simple question like mm, pertinent to for
It's okay, there is no right or wrong answer. If you're wrong, I'll let you know.
like he asked about they said क्या बोलते हैं કહેવાય ને કે સર એ લોકો આપણને પૂછે છે કે પોતાના આપણી ઉપર જે હોય ને એ પોતાનું.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is it's all about ourselves. So they ask question related to yourself. Why do they ask these questions about yourself? What you said is correct, but why do they ask these questions?
To just check the ability of the exam giver.
Mm-hmm.
Are they capable of like deal with the all circumstances in their like working place or at colleges? This all exam is all about that, like speaking. Can we understand whatever the front person is asking, or are we able to just respond in correct? Is that?
Okay. So Chirag also tried, and Vicky, you also tried. Both of you are correct. They ask these questions to check your ability, whether you can understand basic questions about yourself. So the topic is yourself. For instance, if Chirag is taking the test, the topic is Chirag. If Nikki is taking the test, it's Nikki. So the easiest topic in this entire world is yourself. They are just checking, can you answer about yourself? All right. But what's the difference between part 1 and part 2? Part 1 is all about yourself. You don't have to think before you speak. For instance, if I ask your name, you don't have to think. Where did you study? You don't have to think. But what about part 2 now? What is the topic? What is the skill that is being tested in part 2?
Storytelling.
You can say storytelling, or you can say short storytelling, which lasts for 2 minutes. And is it related to you?
No, sir.
Yes.
It's kind of yes, kind of no. If you're lucky, if the situation has happened in your life, then you can say that yes, it's your story. But if it has not happened, you have to creatively come up with something and try to respond. And the skill that they check is, can you last up to 2 minutes? If you're talking about a different story, not directly related to your identity, it is about an incident that has either happened from the past, maybe in the future, something that you're expecting to happen. So the skill is different now. You cannot directly speak without thinking. Now you have to start thinking. You have to think about what to say next. You can plan your speech because they give you 1 minute of preparation time. But this entire aspect of speaking changes in part 3 because you are spontaneously asked questions related to the topic that is in part 2, and now you're supposed to answer without thinking. If you notice, in part 1 there is no thinking time, it's yourself. Of course you don't need to think about your own answers. In part 2 they give you 60 seconds to prepare for something, a cue card. And in part 3 there is no preparation time, and this is your ultimate ability to answer, whether you can answer questions spontaneously or not. Do you know the length for all three of them? Chirag, of course you know. What about you, Nikki? What should be the length in part 1 and part 3? Length of the answer.
Like, okay, length of answer. For part one, we can just up to 3 to 4 sentences we can speak.
Yes, you can
That
speak.
is all about 7 minutes.
5 minutes.
6 to 7, 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Okay. And part two is 2 minutes. Again, the third part is about it's 10 minutes.
Hmm.
7 to 8
Okay.
minutes.
What
Huh?
about part 3? How many sentences do you need?
Like there is no compulsion, but
So can I just speak 1 or 2
it's
sentences as well?
always better. Like more than the part one.
Of
Like
course,
it's a
more than part
kind
1.
of double.
So it should be at least 5 to 6 sentences in part 3.
Yes.
And this again is not something that they allow you to think. You need to speak spontaneously, and you need to at least try to give 5 to 6 sentences. In part 1, if you try to speak too much, they will stop you constantly. They will again and again stop you because they are running on a clock. They have a set of questions they need to complete in the next 4 to 5 minutes. So they might stop you in part 1. But if you don't last for 5 to 6 sentences, they might encourage you. I'm not saying they will, but they might encourage you to keep speaking because they want to see your comprehensive ability. They want to check if you're capable to keep on speaking. Got it? So now how to
Yes, sir.
last for these many sentences? It's 5 to 6 literally, and that too not about yourself. So there is this small technique that I share for writing task. I'm talking about the essay writing. We usually say explanation, reason, and example. This is how we extend our answers, extend our ideas, and we fortify the entire idea, or we strengthen our idea with an example. So in the speaking section, part 3, we can do the same thing. Let's say you are asked something, try to explain your point, give a reason, then again take another point, explain it, and give a reason. So you can simply say explanation, and reason. And then finally, you can share your own personalized example, but just make sure that you're not talking about yourself. Try to answer generally. Let's look at this with an example. Let's say the question is what, okay, you guys give me a question. Let's take from you guys. Just give me a question for part 3, IELTS speaking.
Okay, sir. Let me just. Hmm. It's like do you think it's harder to make decisions nowadays because we have so many choices?
This is the question, right?
Hmm.
Bombarded, or means we are thrown with different questions.
Yes.
Okay, just give me the keywords. What
Hmm.
comes to your mind right away? Is it harder? Is it easier? Which side would you check?
They're hard.
Okay, so let's say it's hard. Anything else that comes to your mind? Why why
Oh,
is it hard?
technology.
Sorry?
Technology.
Because of technology. Anything else? You can say too many
Uh,
choices.
yeah, too many choices.
Your voice is breaking.
Not to
Not
be an odd man out. Peer pressure. Not to be an odd man out.
peer pressure, and this is also called as FOMO. We won't, of course, call it FOMO. We'll call it as fear of missing out as well. Not just peer pressure, but also
Hmm.
FOMO. Anything else?
No, that's.
Chirag, your perspective. Chirag, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Any perspectives from your side? Anything that comes to your mind?
No.
All right, no worries. Let's do one thing. I'll share a small list of words that you can use to connect one idea to another. So let me search for besides. Yeah. Yeah, can you guys see this one? Is it visible?
Hmm.
Yeah. So these are all conversational transitions, and right now we need them because this is our speaking module. But let's say this is writing task. All we have to do is go to the academic transitions. Does it make sense? These two are quite different than each other. Let me put it side by side so it makes more sense. So these are academic transitions. We usually reuse it in writing, and these are conversational transitions. This is just a list that I came up with, which basically I've heard people using, and this is semi-formal. I wouldn't say completely formal, but this is semi-formal. This is for speaking. I'll just tag it so you can remember it. And this is how we write. So it doesn't mean that we cannot use any of these ones in our speech. Of course we can, and we should show a blend of both of them. So for speaking we'll use this, plus we'll use these ones, but for writing we'll only stick to these ones. We won't use the conversational ones in the writing part. Is this clear now? Any doubts in the transitions?
No, sir.
All right, so we'll just go through it once. Conversational transitions. One more thing is, another thing that comes to my mind is, apart from that, on top of that, besides, this reminds me of, having said that, with that being said, not to mention, speaking of which, as a matter of fact, in other words, and to put it in another way, we won't be using any of these, but let's see how it goes. So we have our transitions ready, we have our ideas ready. Now we'll try to create an answer which reciprocates what Nikki told us. So, do you think it's harder to make decisions because we are bombarded with choices? Of course, as we are living in a world constantly facing the, you can say, numerous advents of technology and the addiction of social media, people tend to be tend to witness multitude of choices when it comes to purchasing any services or products. So I'm basically trying to touch both the aspects, services as well as products. This is because, so what is this, what does this mean? This is because we are now extending our answer. Jamshid, I just saw you coming in, so I unmuted you. So we are basically covering the part 3 section of the speaking module, and we are trying to answer this question. Do you think it's harder to make make decisions because we are bombarded with choices? This is because we are surrounded by advertisement on both offline as well as online platforms. Even though we never asked for it. Individuals face peer pressure and upgrade to better services or products, so they don't have be feared of missing out on opportunities. So far so good. Are you guys with me? Chirag, Jamshid.
Yes, sir.
We just touched out on all the points.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We did an explanation, we gave a reason, we transitioned to a second point, we slightly gave an explanation, and all we are left with is an example. So you guys tell me, what should I add? Hey Jamshid, your perspective.
Hi teacher,
Hi there, how are you?
can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
I'm doing pretty good. So, yes, I get it. I understand what you're doing, but if there is something bad, maybe I have somehow confusion about that. What you wrote in here is definitely perfect. Do you think we can produce the same kind of answer when we are speaking?
See, when it comes to speaking, yes, of course, only speaking helps. But whenever you're free, try to write down something and try to perfect it. So try to upgrade your vocabulary. So when you write your thoughts down, you have a better perspective, a better understanding of how your ideas work. And then when your opportunity strikes and when you're supposed to speak, you can easily say something like this. Of course, your speaking would be better. Sorry, your writing would be far better than your speaking. You cannot speak the way you write. The more you practice, of course, the better you get. But the way we organize our thoughts in terms of writing, it's not possible in speaking. We just go with the flow because we just speak spontaneously, and it should come naturally.
Yeah, that's what I really want to ask because I see many written answers, I mean speaking sample answers,
Hmm.
uh, I think that we should learn from that answers, like for the sake of only learning, not just memorizing and trying to predict the same languages. But I mean, we should be as natural as possible. Yeah.
Exactly. So after we finish this
But when it
question,
comes to
hmm,
when it comes to part three, I guess it's better to be much more formal and trying to be speak in an academic way because it is our speaking and we most of the cases assessed for our the language we can show off. Yeah.
true. And one more thing is, after we finish this question, I'll try to ask a few questions from part three, and you guys give it your best shot. And if there are any corrections, I'll let you know. So it will become a practice session for you. Right. So, Nikki, what can you think of when it comes to examples
Related to this,
related to this? Yes.
for instance, students are having so many choices in their academics, like streams.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly that creates some dilemma for them.
True. Anything else? That's when.
Unnecessary purchase,
Mm-hmm. Say.
economical terms. Unnecessary purchase due to the exposure of numerous advertisements. One tend to purchase unnecessarily, and that results economical turbulences.
Okay, that's like going into the other side. Let's focus on children now. It is commonly seen where I live, for instance, students, especially teenagers, are falling victims to overwhelming options, and they end up buying products and services just to keep themselves in the trend. Sufficient? There is this word relevant that Gen Zs use, and in the trend. We don't need this comma here. Now, how many words, how many sentences did we create? So let's find the full stops. So this is probably our first full stop. Okay, 1 second. One, two, three, four big sentences, but we covered a lot of things. Done? And there is a reality check that I want you guys to understand, that when we write our essays, it takes us 40 minutes to write a 250 word essay, and when it comes to speaking, we speak at 120 or 100 to 120 words a minute. So it only takes us 2 minutes to complete 250 words when we speak. So it might feel that it is too much that we have written, but sometimes it's not. The only thing is, your answers, if they are extended, that's completely fine. You can add more relative clauses, you can add complex sentences, conditions, and stuff. Got it? This question was asked by Chirag. Chirag, do you have any questions how to formulate your answers? So there should be at least more than one point, and try to expand it and finally give an example, something that is relevant to the topic. So this will help you to extend your answers.
Okay, sir.
Right. So let me ask a few questions. Let's take the same topic. We'll ask something like, what are the advantages of having a lot of options in today's world? Would you guys like to try to answer this question? Even if it is wrong, that's completely fine. If you speak, you will feel more confident the next time.
Well,
Yes.
I give it a shot trying to answer for this question. What are the advantages of having a lot of options in today's world? Well, I think the options that we have in these days, it's more of a positive because we can say, let's say that buying something, because when we want to buy something, just we can choose difference between what can we buy just the purchase, like in terms of our price, or maybe just our personal choice, like the color or maybe anything. We can buy it. Also the quality, and we can choose something that, okay, this is good or this is bad, but we can dive more deeper into this kind of things, like the choices. We have a lot of choice in some countries. If there is no choice, like we have only just one kind of item, or the company just monopolize this kind of a whole nation, it's not bad, because if they produce some kind of faulty products, people still have to buy it, like a car or maybe any kind of house appliances.
Jamshed, that's more than sufficient, but finish your point.
I mean, that's the positive, yeah. Yes.
Alright, so two things that I would like you to change. The first thing is the way you started was good. You said you started with, well, I think, but then you added a filler. So try to do that, but in your own mind. Don't let it out. It's just like snoring when people sleep. When people sleep, they usually snore, and that's something people do unintentionally. And the same thing applies in speaking. When we speak, we accidentally add these ahs and ums and all these things. It affects your bands for fluency. And not just fillers. There was some stretching, and but these are some of the fillers and some of the stretching that
Yeah.
people usually make. Right?
Also, once I used to say, actually, or something like this, but
These are all
now,
fillers.
uh, I think it's far more better to say just if you imagine ask me my age, I ask, I'm this kind of age. It's not, yeah.
See, the thing is, people do have fillers, even native speakers have fillers. That's not a bad thing. The only thing is, if you are plagued with fillers, that's bad. If there are too many fillers, that's bad. I've seen professional speakers who have mastered this art so much that they don't even have a single filler. And that is something that we should strive for. We should try our best so that we don't have a single filler in our speech. Everything we speak should be precise and should be enunciated in such a way that we don't even need fillers to think. Whenever we feel that we need to think, we just take a pause. And there is nothing wrong with taking a pause.
Just keep silence, right?
Say this is silence.
Uh-huh.
The problem is people are very uncomfortable when it comes to not speaking. They fill these pauses, these blocks of silences with well, these things. Got my point? Only the
Yeah, I
thing
got it.
is,
Yes.
you used something called demonstrative speech. You said this is good or this is bad. I'm not saying you cannot use it, but you can simply call it as things which are good or bad. You can say it the same thing indirectly.
Uh-huh.
Correct?
Yeah, I got it. Like
The answer was right.
saying something
Hmm.
without using simple things, right? Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki, give it a shot. What are the advantages of having a lot of options in today's world?
I rec- I think that technology is becoming ubiquitous, and due to this, we are exceptionally just being exposed with so many options in our day-to-day life. So there are numerous upsides to that. For instance, like we get satisfaction whenever we are searching for the things. We are very interested in finding what is like
Nikki, your voice stopped. Hello? Hello?
audible
Your voice is breaking, Nikki.
now. It was network issue.
Yeah.
We changed the place.
Okay. Can you try shifting to another room?
Okay. Yeah, I just changed my place.
You're audible now.
Okay.
Yeah. Try again the same thing
So
because your
I
voice
was
is constantly
completely.
breaking.
Was I audible in the like
Yeah.
initial
You were
time?
audible, but
Or
I
should I
was just
give?
trying to guess what you tried to say. So try again.
Okay. Like I think that we are sorry to say. I will start again.
Sure.
I think that that technology is becoming very like, ubiquitous in today's world. Due to that, there are many advantages about like we are exposing with the many of the choices regarding the products as well as the other services. So for this reason, there are some upsides of this having so many choices, uh, such as like the satisfaction. If the consumer or any like a human being, if they have the numerous options, they can get whatever they want, and there will be no confusion or some sort of dilemma that will be get resolved as early as possible, and it will lead to a satisfaction for the individual. So yeah, there's like some advantages for being having some sort of options.
Okay. You mentioned a word ubiquitous.
Yeah,
Is that the correct
um,
pronunciation?
I think so.
I
You be
think
cautious.
the word is ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous. Okay.
Is this what you meant?
Yes, yes. Omnipresent. Yeah.
This one?
Yes, 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 sir.
So
This
this
one.
is U B. You can say this ubiquitous. Ubiquitous.
Yes.
So there is one more
Ubiquitous. Okay.
synonym for this. You can say something that is seen everywhere
Omnipresent.
is prevalent. Prevalent. Prevalent.
Okay, sir.
Prevalent. Yeah. So widespread, something that is seen everywhere. So this is another one. It's prevalent. Prevalent. Right. So see, the thing is, we do come across a lot of words while reading, and I'm sure that you heard this word. Sorry, you read this word somewhere in your book. And when this happens,
Yes.
make sure that you're also listening to the correct pronunciation. Without that, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not demeaning anyone, but there are people who speak fluently but with incorrect pronunciation. It's not their mistake. The only thing is they are good readers. They like to read a lot, but they don't have any reference to to the actual pronunciation. So I always recommend an application called Blinkist. I just finished a Blink a few minutes ago. I'll just share that logo so you can download it. So this is the logo. Okay, something else pasted. Yeah, this one. So on this application, what you get is a new book every single day, and that too mostly self-help and fiction, and there are many different genres in it. So you get to read and you get to listen to the actual pronunciation of the audio that they share. So they summarize an entire book in just 15 to 20 minutes. I'll just share a screenshot of the book that I finished right now. So before this session, I had absolutely no work. I was very, very free. So I decided to finish this book, and I heard reviews about this book, but I never got an opportunity to read this. So I started checking out this book. So I finished this book. It took me approximately 20 minutes. And yeah, it took me 20 minutes. It had 8 chapters and it had everything we need to know about becoming a people magnet. It did not have great words because I think I knew almost all the words. I think all words. And the passage were very simple. I got to listen to the actual pronunciation by a professional speaker. So this is something that I recommend. Blinkist. So try it out. All right. So this is all about writing, listening, speaking. It works for everything. Okay, moving forward, there was another mistake. Again, as I said, stretching. The thing that I mentioned to Jamshid, it was slightly present in your speech. It was not that bad, but you used words like many when you were thinking. It's just about thinking. So try to stop speaking when you think. This is something you can practice by yourself. So whenever possible, try to record your own speech and check if you are stretching these words. As I said, and becomes and, but becomes but, many becomes many. So try to observe yourself and you watch your own video. This will tell you how many times you're doing this when you speak. And the next time you'll be more conscious, you'll be more self-aware about your own speech. Right? And finally, you used a grammatical structure which is incorrect. This one. That will be get resolved, no. So you can simply say that
will be resolved.
That's it. See, the thing is, whenever we record our speech or whenever our friend listens to our speech, if they know better grammar, they can correct you, but you cannot correct your own grammar by listening to yourself, even if you record yourself. So what I would personally recommend is, there is a strategy that I recommend everyone. All you have to do is journal your day, mention everything that you did. This is your personal diary. No one is going to read this. So you can mention every good, bad things that happened with you. You can talk about the things you learned. You can talk about the people you met, or you can even talk about how your day was. As simple as that. Once it is written down on a piece of paper, convert it to a digital piece. So you can type it on your cell phone, or you can just type it on your laptop, and use an AI application like ChatGPT. Simply ask it to correct your grammar. And once you get the correct version of grammar, just compare it with your written speech. It will tell you all the grammatical mistakes you make. And if you do this consistently for a couple of days, within a couple of days, you'll notice that your grammar is far better. The only condition is try not to repeat your mistakes. That's it. So the first day you'll notice a few errors, and then ChatGPT will tell you that these are the errors you're making. The next time, ensure that you don't repeat those mistakes. That's it. And this is something that even I do Not regularly these days, but there was a time I used to do this regularly. And before even access to ChatGPT, there were applications like Grammarly. I'm talking about back in 2017, 2018. So I used to do these things to help me correct myself because I don't know which mistakes I'm making. Got it?
So,
Perfect. Chirag, that's next is your turn. Yeah. What are the advantages of having a lot of opinions in today's world?
Nowadays, nowadays people have an materialistic goals, so they have more option to choose anything, whatever they like, as well as they have an opportunity to get better.
Options, perspectives, product, services.
Sure, but having a lot of option, but what?
Options in terms of both offline as well as online products, even with products as well as service, everywhere.
Question related to product?
Anything. A lot of options for everything, even if it is clothes, foods, apparels, you name it. We have a lot of options.
Okay. I think people, sorry, I think nowadays people have an materialistic goals, so they only like to buy unnecessary things and they follow the trend. But having a lot of option, we have an opportunity to buy best products. So can I add more example?
Yes, please, if you can.
For example, recently I visited a mall with my friend, and there are a lot of variety of cosmetic product and clothes available. Then I have an opportunity to buy best product of this clothes. Choose
There were so many options to choose from.
clothes like shoes, t-shirts, and many more.
Mhm. Okay, so we'll start from the example. The example that you shared was personal. If you noticed, what we did over here is we referred to common teenagers or students from the place where you live in. So the example that you shared was related to a mall that your friend and you visited. So we'll simply change it to, in my city, it is commonly seen that more and more shopping malls are being established every year. This has given us a lot of options to choose from. Despite the options available offline, people sometimes even prefer buying clothes, electronic items, and other products and services online. In a nutshell, So in a nutshell is something that we should not be using in the writing task, but when it comes to speaking, we can use it because it's a speaking phrase. In a nutshell, we are so much blessed to have these many options in the generation where we live. Did you get the point? I said the same thing that you mentioned about your friend and you when you visited a mall. You had so many options. I did the same thing. The only thing I changed is I said it in such a way that I'm not referring to my personal experience. I'm referring to a general experience about my city. Is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's correct a few things. The moment you mention a lot of, it should be plural. So what is wrong in this?
Options.
Options. The moment you mention or use an article, what should you do? If you use an article a or an, the indefinite ones, it is only used for singular nouns. So goals, wrong. But we should always say goals as plural. We should not say a singular goal. So what we'll do is we'll remove this an. So this sentence will turn or become converted to people have materialistic goals. Now this is correct. Got the difference?
Sorry.
And other things such as but became but and became and basic fillers. The thing I'm noticing for the past few years is there are only a few people who can effortlessly speak without fillers, and it has become extremely rare in the realm of IELTS or in the field of IELTS. Any idea why this is happening? Why most of the people you meet, most of the speakers have fillers or have bad habits when it comes to speaking? Where do these habits come from?
You know, we just prepare for IELTS for the sake of getting high score. And I guess they saw many movies or maybe listen podcasts. And also there's difference between someone just who can speak and someone who cannot. Also there's the same can go with the type of things they are listening, because listening kind of they absorb, I mean, the language, let's say, right? They learn from that kind of listening. That's why they use fillers. Well, you know, I'm using, you know, yes. Also, what was I'm thinking about the previous experience. I used to use a lot of fillers. Still, I'm using it, but not that much as I used to do. I don't know. I have no idea why people just use a lot of fillers. I guess they just want to be flawless, you know, when it comes to speaking.
True.
Yeah. They want to be just fluent and as if they are fluent. I mean, when they are speaking, this is why they use so many fillers. Yes, because the questions are sometimes weird or just say so abstract. Yeah.
I'll try to write down something that just popped into my head. Fluency comes from a place of absolute certainty. Do you guys agree with this? Fluency comes from a place of absolute certainty, and the reverse is also true because hesitation comes from a place of uncertainty. Did you understand what my perspective is when it comes to hesitation? If I ask all of you your full name, will you hesitate?
No,
Because you are certain.
we don't.
Many
Yes.
people tell me that just because of the surroundings, they learn fillers from other people, but this is not so true for me because I constantly am in touch with students, and of course, students have fillers. So the content I'm consuming is also with fillers because when I speak to students, they tell me they respond to everything with fillers.
I guess it somehow has to do with like the things they know, like they are aware of. For example, just they are really good at talking about just their favorite things, like maybe I don't know the topics they know. But when it comes to some strange topics, they hesitate and they may make some pauses instead of just making pauses. They use fillers. Yeah. This kind of uncertainty just you want to mention here.
True. See, what I believe is from one side, I'm consuming fillers from my students, and on the other hand, I'm consuming good quality content from the internet. I have few friends who can communicate effectively, but we don't interact on a daily basis. So, should I wait for them to reach out to me or should I reach out to them frequently? No, that's not possible because everyone has their own lives. So, what I personally do is I make sure that if I'm consuming these many hours of content with fillers from my own students, then I should make sure that I invest more amount of time in consuming content from the internet from people who are far, far better than me without fillers. I should make sure that if I'm listening to a podcast, the person should not have a filler. The host should not have a filler. The interviewee, the person who is being interviewed, should not have a filler. If I'm watching a movie, I make sure that I focus on the people who can speak effortlessly. Because when we watch movies, there are people who have fillers, there are others who don't. So it's up to us where we focus on. Alright. So if possible,
So in this case, what if we speak too slow without fillers? Like the we can speak to some extent, but if we try to speak just without fillers, just trying and to get rid of the fillers that we don't like, or people say, just don't use fillers. But we speak really slow. This it is. I mean, is it sound fluent?
say it's not a bad thing to have fillers. I'm not looking at fillers as a bad thing, but it's just your showing of hesitation. It's the way that you show hesitation when you speak. And fillers, by the way, have a grammatical name. We call it interjections. We have parts of speech. This is the eighth parts of speech. So on the eighth number, we have interjections. It has well, uh, you know. We literally have a portion of grammar where we show interjections. The reason being, let's say we want to hesitate. How would we hesitate? This is how we do. So using fillers is not a problem. The only thing is overusing of fillers becomes a problem. Right? So if someone asks me, Jaison, have you ever thought about changing your name? Well, not really, because my name is something that I've always been around, and this is something that I've told hundreds of people, even thousands of people. So if you noticed, I intentionally hesitated in the beginning because I never thought about changing my name. But then I can speak effectively, I can speak fluently. So it is used to intentionally show hesitation when it is needed, but not every single time. Got it? So as I said, practice, record yourself, be more aware of your fillers. And if you noticed these things that I mentioned, I think it was here somewhere. Yeah. So it's all about awareness. The moment I say a lot of, I should know that it has to be plural. The moment I use an, I need to ensure that this has to be singular. If I don't use an or an article a or an, I should make sure that I'm mentioning it as plural. So it's about awareness of speech. And this is possible when you record yourself and you watch yourself. You'll get to know what your mistakes are. Got it? Alright, so any other questions about speaking, or should we jump to reading? Because we'll cover one question from reading. It's already 11. Hello?
Sir,
Yeah, yes, Chirag.
sir, can you write cue card and practice more and more?
See, if you completely rely on writing, that's not a good thing. You should write sometimes, you should speak most of the times. I just showed this answer by writing because I wanted you to see how we do it. Like what the format is. This is exactly what we think. We should be thinking when speaking in part 3. So just writing, it doesn't help because you will eventually become a better writer, not a speaker. Correct. So find excuses to speak. So find opportunities.
Okay.
Right.
So, sir, how can I improve my cue card?
Cue cards. The more you speak, the more organized your speech is, the better you can do it. Your first target should be trying to speak for 2 minutes without stopping. That is your first target. This is something that I assess for every single student. I check if they are capable of speaking for 2 minutes. There are some people who can speak for up to 5 minutes without any hesitation, without any problem. For them, they need to be accurate in selection process. So they need to select the best ideas, the best grammatical range, the best vocabulary, and then they need to make it concise and make sure it fits in under 2 minutes. And for others who cannot last for 2 minutes, I personally recommend them that they can add a general idea in the beginning. They can share something about the topic and then they can kickstart. So if they're able to delay the answer by, let's say, 10 seconds or 50 seconds, 15 seconds, then they can have the rest of the time to stretch the answer and reach 2 minutes mark. Got it? See, the thing is, you guys are still struggling with. Sorry. Jamshid, you said something.
No, just I turned on my microphone just about some of the things, but you can keep going.
Okay, thank you, Jamshid. See, the thing is, you guys are still struggling with speaking. The only thing you can do is speak more, find opportunities to speak. And during these sessions, give it your shot. Speak as much as you can. Try to speak more than me. That's completely fine. But in English.
But sir, when I speak, that time I realize I cannot remember my grammar things. I just speak like my mind and my speaking are not connected when I speak.
So you're in a phase where you recently learned the concept of grammar and now you're trying to speak fluently. So you're already cleared. You already cleared this stage where you have to learn the aspects of grammar. So now you're in the implementation stage where you implement certain concepts so many times that you eventually stop thinking about the rules and regulations. For instance, we learned this rule. Whenever we say one of the or one of my or one of our, we don't say it as singular. We always say it as plural. So one of the individuals instead of saying one of the individual. So if I constantly do this a couple of times, I remember that every time I say one of the, one of my, I remember this rule of plural. Eventually I'll stop thinking about the rule. I'll start thinking about the idea. Yes, initially rules are important for accuracy, but eventually you'll focus more on the idea. So Chirag, you just asked me a question right now, a few seconds ago. Did I know that you'll be asking this question? Of course not. But as of now, I'm thinking about what idea to share, how should I resolve this problem, how should I convey my message, and the grammatical part, just stick to it. That is how it works. Just think about your native language, you don't think about the grammatical terms, ideas and grammar just sticks to it.
Okay.
All right, it's about repetition. The more you repeat, ensuring that the accuracy is correct, the better you get. And I've seen people with terrible grammar and all they have did is repetition without verifying if the grammar is accurate or not. And now the problem is unlearning the previous concepts, and that's very difficult. All right, so go slow, ensure that you are accurate, make sure that you learn pronunciation, and keep on upgrading your vocabulary. So find better ways to express yourself. All right, Nikki, let's address your question. Just give me a minute, let me find some. I'll share my screen, let me know once you can see it. Is it visible?
I can see the screen, but it is different screens in the. I mean, not screen.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, it should be visible now. Is it?
Now it is. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So there are so many tabs today. Yeah. So Nikki, your question was sentence completion. Is this the one?
Paragraph information,
Okay, one is paragraph information and
sentence ending.
sentence ending. So let's see.
I guess it's somehow related to the matching information. Just in we can provide some. Yeah, this is it. So, yeah.
And I think it should either be this one. No, not this one. No. 1 second. Yeah, this one.
Yep.
So Nikki, can you confirm these two? One is this one and one is this one.
It's this one first.
Yeah, so we'll
This
start
one.
with this one. So what's your strategy of solving these questions?
I don't usually go with the options. First, I go with the question. That is like first one.
So you read the question
From
first,
that, huh,
then
keywords.
keywords from the question,
Yeah.
then
I will just locate those keywords.
then
Then just try to comprehend either the information is given before this keywords or after this keywords, and just try to match the meaning of those sentences with the options.
okay. So do you look at options first? Do you mark the keywords? Because there are so many good keywords here. Do you mark them?
No, I'm no, the keywords from the question.
Not from the options, right?
Question.
Yeah, I'm saying you mark the keywords from the question and not from the options. Is it correct? Do you look at the options before you go to the passage? Do you read these things?
Just a glance, like
But you don't
read in a hurry.
focus too much on it.
Yeah.
All right. So the strategy is absolutely correct, and this is exactly what I teach. You should read the question first. You should mark the keywords. You should go to the passage. You should read and understand, and then you should come back and you should start eliminating these options just like MCQs. So it's just a big MCQ. In an MCQ, we get 3 or 4 options. Here we have more. That's it. So
Okay.
now, Nikki, we are sure that the strategy that you're using is correct. Now the problem is the way that you mentioned, you're able to reach the correct spot, but the correct answer is somewhere next to it.
Yes.
So the answer to your question is vocabulary. And sometimes it's not just vocabulary, it's also reading experience. I'll show what I mean. So once I explain the words, you'll have exact understanding of what I do. But in this exact paragraph, there is this paragraph, this first one, in which even if you know the meaning, you won't be able to understand what the author is trying to imply. So there is something called, in our language, we call it as inferred meaning. So this is something that the author has hidden behind vocabulary. I'll try to explain. Let's read this paragraph. I'll tell you when the inferred meaning thing is used. Right? We'll just understand the first paragraph. We are not solving the passage right now. We're just understanding the first passage. Right? So Nikki, it's your question, so I'll ask you to read because I've been constantly speaking for the past 1 hour or so. Can you please read the first passage?
Okay. Deborah Harkness devotes her elegant and erudite new book, The Jewel House, to the scientific community in 16th century London.
Please hold.
She rightly argues.
Hold on. So there is this word and there is this word. Do you know what it means?
Elegant, I don't know, but this
Elegant.
second, I don't know.
Do you know the first one or the second one?
Oh, I just know the first one.
Okay, what do you mean by the first one? Elegant.
That is something like impressive.
Impressive, beautiful, yes, true. What about the second one?
Hmm. No, second one I just read first time.
No worries. Jamshed, Chirag, Rishi, or Berlin.
That's what I don't know about.
Okay. See, erudite is a person. Okay, I don't know why my voice is repeating. Hello? Yeah. So, erudite is a person who has a lot of knowledge. As simple as that. Do you guys Google these words to verify the meaning every time you read a passage? Or do you just keep on reading?
Yeah.
You research about it, right? So, erudite.
Yes.
Clear? And the pronunciation, let me know if it is audible.
Erudite.
Was it audible? Erudite. Did you hear that? I'm not sure.
Erudite.
Yes, you could. Yeah, erudite.
So erudite means this book has a lot of information, and this is from a person who is erudite, Deborah. The Jewel House to the scientific community in 16th century. See, when I explain this passage to my students, there are a lot of things that I also add. So we should also make sure that this part is clear. This is an extract from part 3 text about scientific community in London in the 1700s. So what do you mean by 1700s?
16th century.
No. Let's say I'm someone who was born in the year 96. So I'm from the 90s. I might be the oldest one here, but let's say anyway. So I'm from the 90s. There are people from 80s. So this means from the year 80 to 89. So these are people from the 80s. 90 to 99. These are the people from the 90s. So who are the ones from the 1700s? So 1700 to to 17, maybe 1799. So these are the 1700s. Is this part clear?
Yes, yes.
So now it says this community is from the 1700s, and our topic, our heading is science in 16th century. So which century is this? Which years are considered in the 16th century?
1601 to 1699.
Okay, let's verify that information by doing a quick check. In which century are we in? Are we in the
21st.
20th or 21st? So we are in the 21st century. So as per your calculation, the years should start from 2101 or 2100. That's wrong.
2001.
2000 or 2000. 1, 2.
Oh.
When does it end?
2099.
2099. So how many years
Yeah.
are this? 98 years or 99.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a simple rule. Whenever you see century, just copy and paste it over here, add 2 zeros, go to the first line, add 100 years before this. So 2001 was the year 21st century started. Is this clear?
Yes.
We'll do the same thing with 16th century. So 1600, we'll go to the first, we'll add 100 years, we'll go back 100 years. So 1501. Did you get this? So these are the years they are talking about. So science in the 16th century. Where is Deborah from?
Seventies, 70s.
1700s. Right? So you should be sure about what these things are in order to understand the passage better. She rightly argues. Why did they use the word rightly? Argument is usually seen in a negative way, but here she is arguing in the correct way. So they added the word rightly. Can you please continue, Nikki?
Argues that it is thanks to the imaginative collective efforts of the urban scientists that London became a melting pot in which a new mathematical and experimental culture crystallized.
Crystallized. So if you look at word to word, melting point means a hot point. Here they are talking about a pot, so maybe a vessel. Here they are talking about culture, and here they are talking about crystallized. Crystallized means crystals. So if you read it word to word, you won't get the meaning of what the author is trying to convey, because there is inferred meaning. I'll give you a simple example of inferred meaning. Let's say if I say something like a cut above the rest, does it directly tell you what we are talking about? What do you mean by a cut above the rest, or second to none? It doesn't give a clear idea of what it means, but what this basically means, second to none is something at first position, and a cut above the rest is something that is considered best. So if I put in simple terms, so let's say these are different cuts, and if I put a cut above the rest, this is already at the best, or you can say top or the best. And if I say there is nobody who is second after someone, that means this person already gets promoted to first. So this is English at C1, C2 level, and there are passages in which these words are used. So this is to identify which students can hit those 9 bands, or let's say 8.5. And this is exactly the same that they did. So here it says, she rightly argues that it is thanks to the imaginative collective efforts of the urban scientists that London became the melting pot. So London became a hotspot, or it became a place which became very famous, in which a new mathematical and experimental culture. So they are saying that in London, scientists started coming from all over the world. So it became a trending place, it became a demanding place, a place that is in demand. And this is where a new culture came into existence, where scientists were encouraged to do more mathematical things and more experimental things. So this was a culture that was created in London, and this is what crystallized you can simply refer to as fortified or strengthened. Fort means strong. We have forts in many cities, so fort is equal to strength. You can say fortify, or you can say robust means strong, or simple words, concrete. So that is what crystallized refers to. So now did you get the exact meaning?
Yes.
So Nikki, basically try to understand this. When students research these things on Google, they will just get the exact meaning. So if I look for crystals, I'll come across these things. These are crystals, and it is not wrong. But the author is trying to use this word crystal to emphasize that this culture became concrete in London. So this is a meaning that you need to decipher or demystify from the passage. Is it clear?
Mm.
So how do you think I came to this understanding that they are talking about crystallize as it being concrete, or melting point becoming a trending spot? How did I figure out these things? Any idea? It comes with reading experience. The more you read, the easier it gets. So they use these words because they need to check the reading, or the reader's ability, or the reader's experience with reading. So if you come across a lot of academic context, these things are common. If you read a lot of books, these things like melting pot, something being crystallized, or things that are cut above the rest or second to none, these things starts becoming common. Alright? So the more you read, the easier it gets. Let's address. Sorry? Someone said something. Anyway, Nikki, let's solve the first one. Harkness's research method was different to that of other writers, and why is the reason? We just need to find out a reason. Why is her method different to others? We read the introduction. Did you understand her method, or was it just said that London became a melting point? Her methods were not shared yet.
Yes.
Right? So we'll continue reading. Harkness is known for her ingenuity. What is ingenuity?
Oh, like being genuine,
Nope.
uniqueness, I guess.
Try to extract this word. What do you get?
That's something genuine.
Genius,
Okay,
cleverness.
cleverness.
So ingenuity. Correct?
Ingenuity.
So that means a person who is clever, original, and inventive. So basically, genius. So she is known for her ingenuity as a researcher and her historical empathy. What do you mean by empathy?
So who can understand the emotions of others?
Berlin, you are trying to speak, but your voice is not audible. Try to disconnect your headphone and then try to reconnect it. I'll wait for you.
So who can understand the emotions of other people? Maybe.
Yes, true. And what is the difference between empathy and sympathy?
Empathy is something we experience self experience, like
Of.
putting our feet in someone else's shoes,
Hmm.
that we do in empathy.
Uh-huh.
And sympathy is way just like, what's the call?
Let's simplify this. Have you seen those groups where people send RIP, 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 RIP?
Yes.
That's sympathy. And have you seen those people who actually go to someone's house when someone pass away and they give their heartfelt condolences, not through a WhatsApp text? If they are available in the city, they go to someone's house and they spend some time with the person because they know that how much pain they are going through. That's empathy. Sympathy is like, yeah, RIP, RIP, RIP. Right? And there is one more word, apathy. We came across sympathy, empathy, and there is apathy.
Emotionless.
Sorry?
Emotionless.
Emotionless. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, that's correct. Apathy means having or showing no response to certain things. That's apathy. Just like there are people who at least send RIP, and there are others who don't even completely read those messages. Correct? So, apathy. Anyway, in the Jewels book, Harkness turns her skills. Can you please continue from there? Nikki, would you like to continue or should I ask someone else?
Oh, yes, sir, I can continue.
Okay, thank you.
In the Jewel House, Harkness turns her skills on the city of London as a whole with surprising and fascinating results. She began her research by asking herself a new
Hold on.
question.
Hold on. She began her research. So, do you remember the question? It was about methods. Harkness's research method was different to that of other writers because, so she began her research. How? How did she begin her research? By asking
Okay, huh.
herself a new question. And can you guys see this colon?
Yes.
When do we use colons?
To explain the further, the
Correct.
earlier statement.
Correct. So we should be careful about these things. So not what caused scientific revolution. So this is a part where you can eliminate this part because this is not the correct one. So she clearly said not what caused scientific revolution, but so now this is correct. So but what the names science and scientist meant in the 16th century. So she's going like 200 years back and she's trying to understand in those era, in for them 200 years ago, for us many years ago. So how did they perceive these words science and scientist? So this is a research method. Is this clear?
So,
So let's see the options. Why was her method different than other writers? Was Elizabeth mentioned until now? Was this name ever mentioned in the passage? Elizabeth of London. Did we come across this name? Knowledge of Elizabeth London.
no.
So this is not definitely not the answer. So we'll just remove it. She started by seeking to understand how basic terms were used in the past. Which are the basic terms?
Yeah, science and scientists.
Makes sense. So we'll just keep it open. We won't select it right now because we still have to go through 4 other options. See, here it is mentioned they, and our question only consists of one person. So can we even look at this? Should we even look at this option? They worked? No, because we are
No.
only looking at one person. So this is wrong. So we can eliminate this. She examined, so Harkness is a she, but did she examine how their methods evolved and changed? So we are only looking at this person's method, we are not looking at others' method. So because of this word there, we won't use this answer. Did you see how I deciphered this answer?
Yes, sir.
So this is not the answer. D is also not the answer. Clement Draper, was this name mentioned?
No.
So again we eliminate this, and they used, we cannot say they for one person, so again this is gone. So with the help of grammar we can identify which answers at least has the potential to be the correct answer. So we found one option that stands out of the rest, and it makes sense because she tried to understand and ask questions how the terms science and scientists meant in the 16th century. That's the past. Clear? Perfect. So this is the strategy. There is nothing more that you need to do. Use elimination method, solve it just like question answers or MCQs. That's it. Right. We'll quickly look at one more question, so we'll finish this and then we'll stop this session. Over here, we have proper nouns in this box, and we have these questions, and we have an instruction that is absolutely important, that is match each item with the group which first invented or used them. This is what you need to remember. So we need to look for this information, black powder, and we need to verify which country either invented or used them. We have black powder, we have rocket propelled arrows for fighting. What do we mean by propel? Any idea?
Field.
Sorry?
No.
You said something, I did not get that.
It's something. Field.
Mm-hmm.
FIELD.
Do you remember the movie Titanic?
Yes.
So in that movie, there was a scene where Rose tried to attempt suicide. And all of a
Yes.
sudden, Jack came out of nowhere smoking a cigarette. And then they had this conversation. He somehow tricked her into coming back on the deck. And then came her fiance and all those rich people on the ship. And that is when she gave an excuse that she was just trying to look at the propellers. And where are propellers located? On the bottom side of the ship. Propellers are those big fans which propels, or so-called pushes, the ship forward. It either goes clockwise or anti-clockwise. So propellers. Now, can you see this? So what is the job of a propeller? To push forward. So that is also the meaning. To propel means to push forward. So these arrows are pushed forward with the help of rockets. In the past, we used to use something like this. I'm not a good artist, so don't expect me to draw something well. But we had something like this, which had a string, and we used to pull that arrow thing, and it used to shoot out. But now, it's an advanced word, so we use rockets in arrows. Is the question clear? I'm just trying to explain the question.
So understood. She God Sri Rama used one.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
Yes. Bow and arrow, it's simple terms. So black powder, rocket propelled arrows for fighting, rocket as war weapons, and rocket launcher. This is what we need to remember. We'll first try to find out black powder. Can you see black powder anywhere?
First line.
First line itself. And one more thing is, whenever you see these two single inverted commas, you can be sure that this is the first time this word was mentioned. If they use it the second time, they won't have these single inverted commas. It will be missing. Is it clear? So quickly, you can simply skim this answer and tell me which country either invented or used it for the first time.
Chinese.
Chinese.
Yes.
So here it says most historians of technology credit the Chinese with its discovery. So we can simply go here and write down A.
Hmm.
The second one, it says rocket propelled arrows for fighting. So try to find propel, the word propel, and rockets.
Found it.
Where is it?
So
Did you find another one?
after the sultan, yeah. Yes, by the 13th century.
So here it says by the 13th century, powder propelled fire arrows. So this is of course our question. Had become rather common. The Chinese relied on this type of technology. So who used this technology?
Yes.
Chinese, of course. So answer is
Chinese.
Chinese. Now we have rockets as war weapons and rocket launcher. Let's finish this anyway. So if you notice in this passage, from here onwards, they started mentioning the meters and diameters and all these things which has to do with numbers. So they are explaining these things, how it works, the bamboo
Yes.
shaft and all these things. And if you come a little bit lower, we can see weapons, and our question is rockets as war weapons. So who used rockets as war weapons? See, Europe is a continent. Please don't consider this as a country. Here it says continent. So which country used it? Berlin, Chirag, Rishi, you can also give me answers.
The Indians, yeah.
The Indians. So if you remember this paragraph, do you remember this red and green thing? We can see the same thing over here. Here it clearly says, here it clearly says the aggressive use of rockets, that means they used it for wars, came not from within Europe, but, so this is the correct part because they are using the coordinating conjunction, but far away India. So our answer is
India.
India. So answer is the Indians, B. And the last one, the rocket launcher. So we just need to find the launchers. Just quickly scan and tell me if you see rocket and a launcher.
Americans.
The Indians, yeah.
Correct. So the Americans developed a rocket complete with its own launcher. So who invented it?
Americans.
Americans. So AABA. Sorry, AABE. Did you get the perspective? This is how you need to approach these question types. You have the correct strategy. The only thing is vocabulary, and if we add one more thing is you need to understand the inferred meaning. That means what is the writer trying to say with different set of words. Alright? So don't just match the keywords, try to really dig deeper and try to understand the meanings. That's it.
Okay.
So we'll stop this session. We did extend it way more than the past. We had sessions, by the way, until 12, 12:30, 1 a.m. Jamshid, the guy from Uzbekistan, he used to stay for that long, and there were other people as well. But yeah, it's been a long time since we extended our sessions. And Nikki, this is your second time, right?
Yes.
Did you get something of value because you spent your last valuable 2 hours of your life, and also from the previous session, so a couple of hours? So did you learn something or two?
Yes, I learned that how to be like patient one and but very quick manner. But my thing in my case, I'm not patient. Like uh, just run. Maybe it's just due to the like time pressure. Also, I my another question is that how to be remove the time pressure. Like it feels like that someone is just running behind me and I have to run fast.
Okay.
That's what maybe that, I think so. I have analyzed that that's the one thing. Because of that, I am getting more answers wrong.
Hmm.
I do get the location and all everything, but while reading, I just due to the fear of time phobia, I do misinterpret the answer.
Okay. So a quick, simple question to you, Nikki. Every time you take the reading test, do you pay 17,000 or is it just one time? I'm talking about the fee.
Point.
Just one time, right? So every time you are taking the test, it's not the actual test, it's a practice test. That is why we call it a mock test. So why do you even keep a timer when you are just trying to learn? Because every single time you take the reading test, it should not be a reading test. It should be a learning test where you learn and you take the test at the same time. What I want you to do is take one test with a timer on. What I mean to say is don't put a 60-minute timer. Try to put an open timer so it starts. You keep the cell phone aside, you keep it on silent or whatever, and you complete the whole test 1 to 40. No time limit whatsoever. So, no time limit. And now check whether you're able to find the answers because you're not under a time bomb, like it's not ticking for you anymore. So this is one test you need to take. There is one more test. Take another test with a timer on and a dictionary. You're not allowed to check the answers until you finish the 40th question, but you're free to take a dictionary. Now I want you to evaluate, are you able to score more in the first attempt where there is no timer? If so, the only problem is your fear of time. You just need to increase your reading speed. If you're still scoring the same, I'm not talking about one test, try to take 2 or 3 tests. If you're still scoring the same, try to take other set of tests with zero time, and you also have access to a dictionary. So hopefully you will be able to score more in this aspect. And if in some case you are still not able to score, that means you should stop taking tests. You should instead learn the language and upgrade your vocabulary. Got my point? So even if there are students whom I can give the dictionary, like here's the dictionary, they cannot still solve the answers because they are still in the language learning stage. But if your problem is solved with the help of a dictionary, that means you just need to learn a few words and you should be able to see more marks in the future.
Okay.
Now people might be thinking, like, for me it's easy to say that you should increase your reading speed. I'll also address that part, because if I ask a student to increase their reading speed, something also goes down, that is their comprehension, your understanding. Is this true? If I ask you to read
Yes,
faster, you will understand less. Nikki, you said something and I was speaking, so I did not hear that.
no, it's okay, sir. So yeah, this one is like it's happening with me.
Correct? So the moment you start reading faster, your understanding is down the drain. So what you can do is every single day take these reading passages, try to first, this is the first step, try to just find words that you don't understand, mark it, and try to write the meaning on top of it. So whatever it means, try to write it in English, whatever the English meaning is, and that's it. So this is one step. So once you complete writing all the meanings of the words, the second time I want you to read louder, read out loud, so you'll be sure about the pronunciation as well. It also becomes your speaking practice. So if you do this every single day, you're not just solving passages, you're also reading passages to understand. Will your comprehension go up? Will you understand more words eventually?
Yes, sir.
So your comprehension goes up. And as you're reading every single day, you're also reading it out loud. So when you take the test and you read it in your mind, can you read faster?
Yes.
So that means your reading speed also goes up. Isn't this what you were looking for? Faster reading and more understanding.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you don't have to go anywhere for the vocabulary. You should read the Cambridge volumes 1 to 19. Correct? And there is also one more thing you can do. There is a set of words which I called becoming a wordsmith. I can simply share it over here. So this is a link. You can drop me a DM. You can find me anywhere. Just search for my name or search for the academy's name. I'll share this link. And once you click on this, you will come across a lot of words which are used in the Cambridge volumes. As I have not logged in, you won't be able to see all of them. But there are probably 234 words. These are all at C1 and C2 level, which you can use in your writing, your speech. If you know these words, you can also understand the reading passages even better. Got it? And Nikki, I'm sharing it personally with you. I think others already have it. Nikki, I won't be able to send you a message because you are joining as a channel. Please send me a hi so I can send it to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right? And Berlin, I'm sending it to you directly as a DM. You can check out this list. Make sure that you log in and then bookmark. So when you log in, you should be able to see a bookmark option over here. Just use your Google ID and you should be able to log in. And click on this practice so you can directly practice these answers. Alright, so I guess we'll stop this session over here. It's already close to 12 and tomorrow is the test day. So hopefully the ones who are going to take the test, I wish them all the best and hope they get the desired score. Alright. And if you have any other questions, any queries, you can drop me a DM. My number is on the website. You can find me easily. Just search for my full name, or you can simply go to the website and you should be able to find everything you need.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So that's my number. All right. So thank you so much for joining. It was absolutely fun for me as well. I'll talk to you guys soon. MS, you just joined now, so you can ask me one question. MS, would you like to ask me anything? Alright, so that's a wrap. I'll be seeing you guys next week. Take care and wishing you all the best. Take care. Bye.